Unless there is a complaint, we are videotaping this for prosperity and for educational purposes. Without any further ado, I'd like to invite the Prime Minister to start today's debate. Hear, hear.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is justice? When a crime is committed, what is justice? I'll give you a simple definition of that in which everyone can agree on. It is to give what he or she or everyone is deserved. It is to give the society what it deserves, and the society deserves better to let itself be infested by criminals and the likes of it. The victims deserve a sense of closure. The victim's family deserve a sense of satisfaction, while the perpetrators deserve better than to live in a personal hell, and while the perpetrators' families deserve to be given second chances. Now that's why we have come to our motion here today and this House would make punishment, this House would make capital punishment be applicable to international law. Now, before moving on, I would like to clarify a couple of terms we'll be using throughout this debate. Firstly, this House will put it on the international level, and then capital punishment is to punish certain perpetrators of the law by death, which is carried out by the judicial process, and applying for those laws to act as a part of the law. What do we want? Our stance. We want the safe society, and we want to act maturely to problems that face us today, and then we want to learn from our past mistakes and to not let others follow to past mistakes. So how do we intend to do this? Before I move on, allow me to make a team split. What we'll be talking about. Me as a PM will be talking about this nature of justice, which everyone is going to get, and second is to give the sense of satisfaction to all the parties involved. While my second speaker will talk about how capital punishment will act as an effective deterrent to crime, and then how we are going to carry out our model. Okay, so why do we need to enact capital punishment in the first place? Because in the status quo right now, some countries have capital punishment and some don't, and both are suffering from two major problems. Firstly, crime rates are increasing. Secondly, the victims' families and the perpetrators' families are not compensated, and that leads to further social problems. Now we built a model planning on solving all these problems. So how do we intend to solve it? First, as for our model, first level, after the capital punishment, we apply to people who commit crimes so harsh, such as murder in third degree, genocide, terrorism, or any acts that would lead to terrorism, and such acts that would carry out damages justificable for capital punishment. And after the judicial process is carried out and done, we will compensate the victims' families as usual as a status quo, but we will also compensate the perpetrators' families and then put them on a witness protection program to change their names, change their identity, and then no one will ever have to know who they are, and that they will have a chance on building a second chance in life without having to be stuck with the past that their father or husband is a murderer or rapist. And now thirdly, once the wait time is over and the execution is to be carried out, it will be broadcast live on TV locally. The local crimes will be broadcast locally. This will act as a deterrent, as we will explained by my second speaker. Now, that is steps we will take to enact capital punishment in all countries around the world. Now on to my first argument. Before I move on to my first argument, I need your eye. Okay. First argument, sense of justice. Justice, as I already mentioned, is to give what one deserves, and it follows the Hammurabi Code: eye for an eye, teeth for a teeth, teeth for a teeth. Okay.
Sorry, where does the compensation come from to give the victim and the murder family? If there are a lot of murder, then you will.
If you are so ignorant as to the current state of the society today, the victims' families are already compensated in the status quo, and those monies are taken from the tax. It was split by half, and then for both the victims' families and the perpetrators' families. your excuse for having a lot of murders that would lead to not enough money to compensate for people is irrational, because the amount of tax the government income per year would be more than suffice to shelter over 5,000 of victims' families. Okay, first argument was sense of justice. I've already mentioned to you before in my introduction, justice is to give everyone a sense of what they deserve. The first characteristic is the society. If a murderer or rapist is walking around the streets, would you feel safe? If you were to walk onto your car right now and a black man would, with a wrench, hit you on the head, steal your car keys, drive over to your car, rape your mom and daughters and your wife, and then take over your life and steal your money, do you feel safe? Or do you even have a remotely that thought when you see a black man walking down the street, or a man carrying a knife, or someone looking suspicious? The society deserves better than paranoia. The society deserves to be safe. Not even just a sense of safety, but to be truly safe. One person, they go to rehab, suppose a psychotic man, but they go to rehab. But there's no guarantee that rehabilitation will ever work, ever. So once he comes out, so what would he do if the rehabilitation doesn't work? He kills more people, doesn't it? So once that happens, the society can never have a sense of safety, whether how much rehab the person goes through, because it will never work 100%. And now the second player, the second sense of justice, is the victims and the victims' families. Suppose your dad was raped and killed and mugged. Now what would you want to do to the perpetrator? You would want him to suffer the same fate. But we are in a civilized society, and you should not take vigilantism. That's why we use capital punishment to the hands of the law. If it was an intentional killing and there was a pretense of theft, then of course the crime is harsh enough to be justifiable for capital punishment, and then thus should be killed. And now, by knowing that, victims will be given a sense of closure. And the third party is the victim's family. As I said, they'll be the perpetrator's families, they'll be compensated, and that will reduce all the social issues, because they deserve to be given a second chance away from their past. Now, my second argument is about satisfaction. This, as I already emphasized, about society satisfaction. What about the criminals' satisfaction? It will be further elaborated by the DPM. And thank you very much.